Gibson Harrison here on his 15-year mission through Krapmus. I apologise for the lighting, but this desolate place, this horrible place, deserves no light, apart from that behind me. I have survived the first 2 years of my mission. I have survived Michael Keaton's snowy ass and Adam Sandler's constant whining. But before me today, behind this curtain, lies my toughest test yet. A full-on Christmas comedy. Should I face the consequences of my actions for taking part in this mission, I would like you to send this video to my friends and my family. Do not feel sorry for me, as I deserve to face the consequences of my actions. I love you all, and I thank everyone for their support. And I must go now and face my mission. Thank you all. No.
Come back later.
No.
And Frosty better be here. Oh, they're
Tim Allen,
I love you, Daddy.
Jamie Lee Curtis,
Maybe I was wrong about you.
Christmas with the Kranks.
Welcome back, everyone, to the 15 Years of Krapmus series. If you have no idea what this series is, every year on Christmas Eve, I go through the top 15 worst rated Christmas movies on IMDB, and we pick the next movie on that list, and I review it. The first year I reviewed Jack Frost starring Michael Keaton, the second year I reviewed 8 Crazy Nights starring Adam Sandler, and this year I am reviewing Christmas with the Kranks starring Jamie Lee Curtis, Tim Allen, Dan Aykroyd, and Dewey from Malcolm in the Middle. And this movie revolves around Luther and Nora Krank. When their daughter leaves the family nest, they decide to skip the holidays altogether and go on a luxury cruise. But the neighbourhood is not happy that they're skipping the holidays. Now, just like the previous movies on this series, I had never watched this movie before. The only information that I got about this movie was from a YouTuber, Cinematic Excrement, who is super underrated. Please go watch him, he really deserves your support. He reviewed this movie, and it turned out to be pretty terrible from what he was saying. However, you can't judge a book by its cover, and you can only know if a movie is truly bad or good if you watch it for yourself. So I watched it last night, and I can confirm that, yeah, it's pretty bad. Is this the worst movie of the series so far? Well, we'll see at the end of the video. But before I get into the review, I just want to give you a bit of information about this movie. So this movie is surprisingly based off a book called Skipping Christmas, written by John Grisham, and it's directed by a guy called Joe Roth, who has certainly directed movies. Looking at what he's done, he's mainly a producer. He's produced films like Anyone But You, Maleficent, and F9. So this guy knows quality, it seems. I mean, he was an executive producer on The Exorcist 3, which is a banger movie, so maybe he does know quality. But on a directing level, he's really not done anything noteworthy. Like, tell me right now if you've heard of the movie Freedom Land. I have never heard of this movie until now, and I'm pretty sure you haven't until now as well. But anyway, enough jibber-jabbering. On to the review. So this movie starts off with the Kranks in an airport because their daughter is going to Peru for an assignment with the Peace Corps. Now, I actually didn't hate the first 10 minutes of this movie. Yeah, there's some really trash jokes.
You didn't see that coming?
Also, do me a favour, remember that Brolly Santa? He'll come up later. But despite a few hiccups, the opening isn't terrible. There's a decent plot setup, you understand why the Kranks might want to skip Christmas, so there is decent motivation. However, there are a few lapses in logic which I just had to talk about. For one, the Kranks spend $6,000 on Christmas every year. On what? What are you spending that amount of money on during the holidays? And then we get this line, which just makes Luther so unlikable.
Well, we can still give our charitable donations to Children's Hospital and of course, the church.
No, this is a total boycott.
It's $600, Luther.
Fuck them kids, bro.
The cruise is $4,000. That leaves you with $2,000 to spare. Surely you can donate a little amount of that to a charity. Nora really hates this idea, by the way. But in the next scene, Luther just says, okay, we'll get a little bit of money to charity. So that whole scene was just meant for nothing, really. But unfortunately, that little line from Luther there just plants a little seed for many more problems to grow throughout this movie. Because the characters in this movie are so damn unlikable, and you'll see why later on in the video. But anyway, the Kranks decide that they're going to skip Christmas this year and are going to go on this luxury cruise. And then Luther decides to write this letter to his employees, telling them that they're going to skip Christmas. Why do they need to know this? They have no reason to know this. Even if you really need to tell them, why couldn't you just send them an email? Why are we printing out personal letters to everyone? So now that the news has gotten out that the Kranks are skipping Christmas, the neighborhood is not happy. Really not happy for some reason. Dan Aykroyd shows up as this guy called Vic Frohmeyer, who I guess is like the leader of the street or something. And he loathes the Kranks now. He hates the fact that they're skipping Christmas. He antagonizes them. He causes protests outside their house. He basically just disturbs the peace at many times in this movie. So he's an unlikable arsehole as well. And everyone else around him, everyone on this street, hates the Kranks now because they're skipping Christmas. How dare they? How dare they skip Christmas? Why is everyone so annoyed that the Kranks are skipping Christmas? I can get over the fact that they're not giving to charity, and that's a big annoyance. But that's really not the biggest reason why they're hating them. They just don't like them because they're not celebrating Christmas this year. What's the big deal? So there's just no likable characters in this movie. There's no one to root for. The only person you can actually like is the Kranks' daughter. But she's hardly in this movie, so you're given no reason to care about her as well. So then the Kranks go to this tanning salon, and then we get probably the weirdest joke ever. Nora is in the tanning bed, and some random guy comes in and she bashes her head on top of the tanning bed, and we never see this guy again. So it's just a random joke slotted in there to pad out the time. And trust me, there's going to be a lot more of that throughout this movie. So then Nora and Luther come out of the tanning salon in their underwear, and then there's a priest there, and once again, he's very disappointed in them that they're skipping Christmas. And then we get to the dumbest part of this movie. The news that the Kranks are skipping Christmas makes the front page in their newspaper. What? Are you kidding me? Why is this front page news? Surely there's more important news stories going on in the world than this? Why does everyone need to know this? Why are they making this such a big deal? And then we get another scene with, oh my god, what the flip has Luther done to his face? He looks like the villain from Flash Gordon. He had Botox injections, and my god, this was just the creepiest scene in this movie. When I was watching this scene, I was like, what? Then after that, the Kranks' daughter calls and mentions that she's coming home early with her boyfriend. And so the Kranks decide that they're going to do Christmas again to make their daughter happy. And then Nora says this.
Larry is never going to know about your stupid, ridiculous, childish scheme of skipping Christmas.
That's right, people. If you don't celebrate Christmas, you're stupid. You're pathetic. So all you different belief folk out there, you all little Now you may be thinking at this point, okay, so the daughter's coming home, and so the Kranks are going to quickly reorganise Christmas, the neighbourhood's going to like them again, and then they all live happily ever after. It's near the end of the movie. Well, no, we're only halfway through. I'm not even joking. When this scene happened, I checked the runtime, and I couldn't believe it. What are they possibly going to do to make this movie earn a 100-minute runtime? Well, I'll tell you. Pointless filler. The second half of this movie is just pointless filler. We see Luther try and get a Christmas tree, and then he gets the neighbour's tree, and then we get this stupid joke, which nobody could have seen coming.
You break one ornament, we're both dead.
I will leave it just like I found it.
A few moments later.
Spike!
Nora manages to get her daughter's favourite meat for Christmas, and then it's run over. Luther tries to get their snowman called Frosty on top of their house, and then it completely fails. Later on, the power goes out, and in the very next scene, it's just fixed again. And then there's this random mini subplot where these policemen go to fetch the Kranks' daughter and her boyfriend, and then they run into this criminal who eventually goes into the Kranks' house and tries to steal a load of stuff. And how is he stopped, you may be asking? Well, he's stopped by Brolly Santa. Remember that joke set up in the very first scene of the movie? yeah, it's paid off here, and it just doesn't work whatsoever. You see what I mean? The second half of this movie is just 45 minutes of filler, 45 minutes of pissing around, 45 minutes of doing nothing. And it's just a drag to get through. And then we get the final emotional moment of this movie. And I forgot to mention this, but throughout this movie, there's this subplot involving this older couple. And the wife has cancer and she's dying. And at the end of the movie, Luther decides to give them the cruise, seeing as the wife is going to die soon. So I guess the message that this movie sends now is that you need to celebrate Christmas. But if you're dying of cancer or other terminal illnesses, then feel free to skip it this year. Merry Christmas, everyone. And then the movie ends with Frosty waving to the camera. And then Brolly Santa's Volkswagen is being pulled through the air by reindeer. So he's selling Brolly Santa's part-time job. And why is Frosty alive now? And why do it look like they came out of the PS2? So that was Christmas with the Kranks. And this movie was more annoying than James Corden in a mouse costume. Let's get loud! All of the characters are unlikable. The message is pretty offensive if you think about it. The jokes aren't funny. The majority of it is filler. The acting is so over the top that it feels like a parody of a comedy. There really isn't anything here. The only compliment I can give it is that it's shot competently. Is this the worst Christmas movie I have ever seen so far? No. I don't think so. I think 8 Crazy Nights is still worse, but I do think Jack Frost is a little bit better than this. So it's bang in the middle for me. So Christmas with the Kranks is going to receive a 1 out of 10. And there we go, guys. That is the 3rd year of the 15 years of Krapmus. Done and dusted. I really hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and I really hope you're enjoying this series as well. If you have seen Christmas with the Kranks, do let me know your thoughts on it. Is it a film you love to watch around the holidays, or do you absolutely loathe it like me? Do let me know in the comments. But I hope you all enjoyed this video, guys. Merry Christmas to you all. I hope you all have a really good holiday, and see you later.